Hello, hello, hello everyone. Welcome back to Perfect Date. Now, you may remember from last time, and the several times before that, we completed Chapter 1, we failed to romance McMurphy, and we died. We completed Chapter 2, we failed to romance Major Floofy Butt, and we died. We completed Chapter 3, we succeeded at romancing Snooty Booty, but we refused to do our job properly, and we died. So, Chapter 4 it is. Can we actually survive? Is that even possible? Who knows? Let's find out. Today it looks like we're playing as this lovely one with a pink collar and a blue shirt. Magnificent. Whose name is going to be... I'm not sure Jacob's the best name for you. Kevin? Caitlin. Caitlin. We can go with that. I'm not sure I would ever spell Caitlin like that, were I to just spell it off the top of my head. But sure, if that's how you want to spell it, you do you, Caitlin. What an amazing journey. I've always enjoyed being out on the open waters, and this really was smooth sailing. I almost skip off the wooden jetty to be greeted by a burly man in a security jacket. ID? I rummage around in my bag until I find the laminated security pass I was issued with on the mainland. Caitlin! That's us! Magnificent. Come on then, Skipper, follow me. Luckily, this guy isn't the sociable type, so I can take in the sights without distraction while we whiz along the forest path. It all looks so lush and green. The boss is in there. Glad to have you on board, Caitlin. Shall we just go through a few formalities and then call it a day? That way you can get some rest before you start work properly tomorrow. Yes, Professor Pawpaw, that sounds good to me, sir. So first, shall we have a little refreshment? I have water, coffee, or something stronger, perhaps. Gin? Who can say no to a nice bit of gin? At least he's upgraded from that awful whiskey before. Gin? For medicinal purposes. He necks the bottle before handing it to me. Much better. I find it settles the stomach. Have a try. He's so rosy. Also, totally only having to settle his stomach because, yep, I'm onto the conspiracy theory again, after a grand 2 minutes in. But he's killing cats. I hold the empty bottle self-consciously. The rest of the day is taking up with procedural stuff. Professor Pawpaw is showing me around the island personally. It was nice to get to know him a little bit. He's rather eccentric, but in a nice way. The thing that stands out the most is my catalogue. The technology is something else. I used it to scan some cats, but it can do so much more than that. The professor was most insistent that I kept it safe, which I intend to. Alright. Bedtime? Bedtime. As I'm settling into my tent, I make a discovery that really catches my attention. It's a notebook that was obviously written by my predecessor. They've left it under my bed, which is as good an invitation to read it as far as I'm concerned. I think it may be the first draft of a novel, and it's not bad either. They certainly have a vivid imagination. There are bizarre stories about talking cats and other island anomalies. They were obviously very inspired by their surroundings. I must say, it's a great read. Imagine if it were true. Ha ha ha, imagine. Could it be? I laugh at my little fantasy as I snuggle down for my first sleep on Cat Island. Very mighty snoring there. Sometime in the middle of the night, I'm woken by an intruder in my tent. Is it a kitty? Could it be? Could it be a kitty? Before my brain can catch up with what's going on, I've leaped from my bed shouting. Who's there? Oh my god, the face of rage! There's actually steam coming out of her ears. Magical. I scramble around for a few seconds before I realise that the notebook has been taken. The next thing I know, I'm running through the forest barefoot, chasing what looks like a cat. This is insane! A wave of nausea rises up in me, and I realise that I've become perilously close to the danger zone. Remembering the warnings in the notebook, I try to turn back, but my legs give way under me. I close my eyes tight as I hit the ground. I open my eyes. A calico cat is standing in front of me. It drops the notebook from its mouth. I pass out. You'd think that, like, having read all the warnings in the book, she might have been prepared for this. But she thought it was a novel. Alas, here we lay, on the beach. I'm lying on the sand, surrounded by cats looking down at me. Yeah, caught us a live one. Move back, child. Yes, let them breathe or they won't be alive much longer. As my brain begins to defuzz, I realise that this is what I was reading about in the novel, only it wasn't a novel at all. My stomach tightens to a knot. It was a journal! I focus my eyes and pick out the big marmalade cat. Have I been bitten? Well, of course you've been bitten. How else would you be able to hear us? This one's an idiot. Don't be rude. The calico cat turns to me. You know about being bitten. You read the journal? Most of it. Enough to understand what's happening here, Kara. Enough to know you have a choice to make. I look from the cats to my scratched and bitten arms and back again. We're gonna help the kitties, 'cause we always try. Enough to know there is no choice. We have to help each other. Bravo, Kara! So, let's cut to the chase. We've already done the chase bit. Hush now. What do you need to know, human? I'm still a bit dazed and in shock. Everything really. At that moment, my catalogue starts beeping. It's telling me I have 15 minutes to get back to camp and start my first day at work. I have to go. Let me get myself together and we can catch up later. I have a feeling you're going to do very well, Kara. The best one yet! They're optimistic. All I'm aiming for is, like, not dying. That would be the peak goal. If we could romance a cat and not die. The dream, wouldn't it? I'm just about to enter the lab to begin my legitimate work when the catalogue beeps. It's a message without any contact information. Again, it went so quickly. What? I don't even... Something about calm water. No, I've just about had enough mystery as a person could handle for one day. If you want to be anonymous, I shall take it you also don't mind being ignored. The professor is already working when I arrive, but I'm not late, so there's no fuss. I get through the day as efficiently as possible and head back to my tent as soon as my work is done. I want to get to grips with finding out all I can. Okie dokie, let's start! Well, the first thing I notice obviously is this weird extras button down here. What's this all about? Is this that thing we unlocked last time? Should I do something a little different? Something called Sherlock 1? I mean, I've clicked it now. I'm not sure whether I should have not, but... Something has woken me, and I can't work out what it is. I'm so used to the sounds of the island by now, waves crashing in and out, yowling, and the sounds of the occasional catfight, that they no longer disturb my sleep. Whatever it was seems to have stopped, so I bring my blanket up to my chin and allow my eyes to close. The sound of the waves gets fainter, and my mind drifts further and further away into the land of sleep. Suddenly, I'm awake again. I can hear a strange noise coming from somewhere nearby. From my very tent, in fact. It sounds like scratching? I strain to make it out. It's familiar, but uncommon. Like a pen on rough paper? Not a pen exactly. A quill, perhaps? I sit up abruptly and find myself alone in my tightly fastened tent. I reach for my torch to take a better look around and realise that I'm holding something in my fist. Am I like sleep writing? I don't remember grabbing anything. It's a folded piece of paper. I open it slowly, wary of what it might be. Or maybe I'm possessed. I must have written a note to remind myself of something, and then forgotten that I'd even written it. This place certainly messes with your mind. I look at the elaborate swirling cursive. That's definitely not my handwriting. Do you need assistance? SH. Okay, who's this from? Who is SH? I do a quick mental run through of everyone on the island, but the initials don't fit anyone. Maybe it means shh, as in keep quiet? But even so, assistance with what? You know, the fact that you're about to turn into a cat? I stare at the piece of paper for a while, wondering who could have slipped it into my hand while I was sleeping, and more importantly, why. I scrutinise the handwriting. It's unusual and beautiful. Normally I would think this was some kind of practical joke, but it has been written by someone with such a deft hand that I cannot imagine anyone here being capable of this class of penmanship. This has to have been written by an artiste. Why would someone assume I need assistance with something? In spite of myself, I begin to drift back to sleep. Well? Oh my gosh, that's magnificent! He's Sherlock the cat! Well, do you need assistance? I'm sorry, what? Who are you? I take out the catalogue and try to scan the mysterious cat. No data available. Who am I? Oh, he's got a Watson! Oh my gosh, this is most fabulous. If I might be permitted to make the introductions, Dr. John K. Watson, most happy to make your acquaintance. He holds out his little paw for me to shake. Oh, he's got a monocle, how fabulous! Hello! And this is the legendary Sherlock C. Holmes, at your service. Sherlock doesn't even look at me. I think his ego may be bruised by me not instantly recognising him. We're here to help. Help who? Why, you, of course! Oh, they're so cute. Look at them. Oh, I wasn't aware I needed help. If you do not see that you are not equipped to help yourself, I put it to you that you are in more need of our help than was previously understood. He's rarely wrong, so yes or no. Yes, 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 just because I want to spend more time with these cats? Maybe? Come on, Caitlin, commit! Commit with vigour, they're adorable! Allow me to alleviate you of some of the questions that are inevitably swirling around in that tiny, diurnal brain of yours. It has come to my attention that you are interested in finding out more about the true nature of this island. That's a good thing. It indicates that you may not be quite as stupid as you look. Now really, Holmes, I would ask you not to insult our client. Oh, I do not mean to insult them. Surely even they are not so stupid that they do not know how stupid they are. As I was saying, my interest has become sufficiently aroused as to prompt me to agree to aid you in your endeavours to unravel the little mystery you have stumbled upon. Clearly, we cannot do all the hard work for you, but we shall assist you to the best of our abilities, my abilities being far more useful than that of my colleague here, obviously. Now, Holmes, really? What my good friend here is trying to say is that we are at your service, and shall do our best to help you find the answers you seek to the questions you ask. Well, I suppose that's very nice of you, but before we go any further, who sent you? Sherlock and Watson share an inscrutable look. You really must focus on asking the right questions if we are to make any progress. I shall appear with intelligence shortly. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning? What? What's going on here? I sit up in bed again. Zane is calling through the tent flap. Or should I say, good afternoon? The rage. Crumbs, I've overslept. Worth it for Sherlock Kitty. Oh, it continues. This is just magnificent. Like, forget everything else. Forget the research. I just want to play with Sherlock Kitty. Can we keep going? Ha! We can. Yeah, Sherlock Kitty. Sherlock Kitty, Sherlock Kitty. I'm woken by the sound of music filling my tent. Music? What the? He's playing a violin and everything. Oh my days, that's so cute. I grab my torch and fill my tent with a bright light. I see the bizarre spectacle of a cat in a cape and deerstalker hat playing a violin. This is too weird, even for this island. Be quiet, you're going to wake the whole camp. I'm afraid he can't stop until he's completed the entire coda. OCD, you know. But why is he playing in my tent in the middle of the night? It's what he does. Well, can't he do it somewhere else? It's what he does when he's near to working something out, on the edge of the precipice of enlightenment. God damn it, I'm beginning to sound like him. And what does it have to do with me? It's your little mystery he's working on. At that moment, the music ends with a flourish, and I begin clapping instinctively. I stop, irritated with myself for encouraging him. Sherlock takes a little bow. I have it. Have what? Come, come, clothes, shoes, outside. And he's gone. You'd best get dressed and meet us outside. Off on a mighty quest we go. I do as I'm told, cursing myself for going along with this nonsense. It's the middle of the night, and I have to work tomorrow. When we reconvene out in the cold of night, Sherlock is pacing up and down, flinging his little cat arms around as though he's conducting an orchestra. I lean in closer to Watson and whisper so only he can hear. What's he doing now? He whispers back. Helps him to think. Can we get on with it, please? Follow! He struts off towards the back of the labs. We come to a halt at the incinerator pits. Regard, if you will, the small white particles of grit at the epicentre of the incineration, resistant to total cremation. The remains of teeth, possibly. Before we can comment, he's striding off again. I have a horrible feeling. Are these the burnt remains of my dead former colleagues? Or I guess they're not colleagues since I never worked with them, but the people that had this job before me? Who else has died? Ugh. Bear with him. It's usually worth it. I traipse behind him until we stop again. This time, we're outside Professor Pauper's tent. We will need to be stealthy. What I want you to see lies within. We can't go into the Professor's tent. He's in there sleeping. My powers of stealth are beyond what is the expected range of a normal feline, or any animal for that matter. I have trained to the highest level in the art of cat-astrophy. For many years I studied under... I'll just get on with it, but if he wakes up you're going to carry the can, do you understand? My dear child, I understand the greatest problems posed to humankind's greatest thinkers. I doubt I shall be taxed by a nincompoop of your calibre. Now, Holmes, be nice, and be quick, I might add. The client's teeth are chattering. Actually, stop! I'm taken aback by my own forcefulness, and even the great Holmes stops in his tracks. I want you to come back to my tent right now and explain whatever it is that makes you think you know. No more of this theatrical showing off. Just tell me like a normal person. Cat. As you wish, but it won't be nearly so... It's my turn to stride off and leave him mid-sentence. We're settled back in the warm, and Sherlock has reinflated his ego. Gets out a little tyre pump, you know, up the pressure, up the pressure. I have a theory, and until it's proven, that's all it is. A theory about what this island is for, and the secret it keeps. Or secrets, if my deductions prove true. I'm very tired. Could you please just tell me your theory so we can all go back to bed? She's not very grateful for all this help, is she? Come on, Caitlin. I'm still working on the individual components of the larger picture. However, for this evening, and to whet your appetite, I shall just close and leave you with this. There are deviants that walk this earth under the guise of normality, whose aberrations, if exposed, would shock you to your core. Okay. I intend to prove that this very island is home to one whose practices are not only unlawful, but also unthinkable. When are you going to actually tell me anything, Sherlock? Yes, Holmes. Come now, we need to get along. I refuse to be rushed and bullied in this vulgar way. We just want you to say something of significance that makes some sense. Human sacrifice. Well, that shut us up. I wait for him to continue, but of course, he strings it out as long as possible for dramatic effect. The offering of human babies in sacrifice is an ancient practice. The demand for virgin blood by the dark gods is widely recognised as... Sorry to interrupt you in full flow, but are you saying that there's sacrificial rituals going on here, right under my nose, and that I haven't noticed? Why would you not noticing what's right under your nose be noteworthy? May I remind you that I needed to point out to you the human teeth in the incinerator, a place that you inspect daily? Exactly, Holmes. I tend to those pits as part of my daily routine, so I know them inside out. What you're referring to as teeth are actually the small pebbles that cling to the roots of the plant samples we burn after testing. Pebbles don't burn. In fact, they collect and alter the temperature of the incinerators, so I have to clear them out twice a week. Sherlock is uncharacteristically quiet. Watson looks deeply embarrassed. Now, unless you have any other ridiculous notions you'd like to share with the group, I suggest we all say night-night, good-night. You have no idea the danger your ignorance places you in. I shall not be deterred by your lack of cooperation, but shall return shortly with irrefutable evidence. Good evening. I'll call for you if I need you. I'm sorry for the, well, everything, really. We'll wait to hear from you. Adieu. Oh, that is wonderful. And there's more, and there's more. Yeah, I think you're all going to see where this is going. Let's play with Sherlock Kitty. Sherlock 3. Are there 7 by any chance? I'm coming to the end of my fieldwork for today. It's been a long morning that has taken me close to the opposite end of the island. I don't often get out this far, so I decide to take a break here and eat my lunch. I'm just relaxing with my tuna wrap and apple juice when the peace and quiet is disrupted by the familiar sound of violin. Sherlock, is that you? Watson pokes his head out from behind the rock I'm leaning against. You're quite far from home today. Aren't you nervous being so close to the enemy? Oh really, Watson. I thought better of you. You sound like you've been spending time with Floofy Butt. The original elder cats are not the enemy. No? Are they your friends? Well, no, not exactly, but that's only because they're understandably suspicious of why we're here on their island. Your first error, my dear child. He has stopped playing his violin and deigned to join us. Hello, Holmes. By what evidence do you deduce that this is their island? They were here first. And you know that how? Quite. You jumped to erroneous conclusions based on assumption and zero factual verification. I'm not in the mood for him today. Either make him wind his neck in, or I may have to muzzle him. Try to be patient. He means well. He's just not very socialised. Okay, come on then, Sherlock. Let's hear it. What do you have for me? I have devoted myself to the task of unravelling your problem, and I believe I am on the point of a denouement. Plain English, please. Yes, please, Sherlock, 'cause I don't know what that meant either. He's about to reveal all. Watson, that's more like it. What an extraordinarily fitting backdrop for the staging of this revelation. You see over there, the shadow cast against the rocks? He's pointing in the direction of the Elder territory. I screw up my eyes against the glare of the sun and look at the wall of grey rock in the distance. He's right. I can make out the shadow of the giant cat statue that sits in the middle of the danger zone. So, that's always been there. You're hardly disclosing any groundbreaking developments. Au contraire, my dear. It cannot always have been there. Someone must have put it there. Well, yes, but long before any of us arrived. Believe me, no one would like to understand how it got there and what it signifies more than me, but unless we find a way to communicate with the elders, it's going to remain a mystery. And that is my stock in trade. Go on then, tell all. I continue with my lunch. It's very simple, actually. The statue of Bastet, your goddess, was erected by your leader, or rather, by his minions, under his direction. I stop eating. Oh, what? By who? Watson, help us out here before we lose patience. Oh, I know a little bit about this one. Bastet, the Egyptian goddess of cats. I think what my learned friend is trying to tell you is that you are in a cult, and Professor Purrfect is the charismatic leader. I mean, that is another alternative. There is a moment of silence where nobody moves until it's broken by my sudden burst of laughter. A cult? Not just a cult, to be precise, but the cult of Bastet, feline goddess of Egypt. Oh, I was right. Yes. I'm finding it hard to breathe for laughing. And who? Who's in this cult? And why? All of you, of course. Each seeking out a place to belong. Each running away from something. Such as? Take a look, if you will, at the containers you have been filling all morning. Plant samples, yes? And you'll be taking these plant samples to... the marigolds. Look, you obviously know all this already, so shall we cut to the chase and you tell me what you know about Mr. and Mrs. Marigold? Clearly, I will have to spell it out for you. It is my belief that they have had to seek protection and concealment on this island from both the authorities and rival drug barons. Okay. I look over at Watson for some sign of sanity, but he has buried his head in his paws and obviously thinks the same as me. The Marigolds are what? Drug dealers. They are in the business of the manufacture and distribution of illegal, mind-altering substances. Or at least they were, until something drove them out of business and forced them to begin again here. Yeah, but there'd be about 5 people max they could deal drugs to here. The professor has taken them in and put them to work for him in exchange for his silence. How did you ever come up with this in the first place? Exactly, my dear. Just look at the evidence in front of you. They are cultivating a herb garden under your nose. The professor has you believing whatever he chooses. Right. I've had enough of you and your crackpot ideas. Take your little violin and go fiddle elsewhere. Sherlock, before I can tell that you're in no mood to open your mind and take seriously the proposals I put forwards, so I will take my leave of you. But in my absence, ponder this. When you engage in the trance-inducing manoeuvres your leader trains you in daily, can you be sure he is not gaining control of your mind, body, and spirit? Oh my god! Yoga! He's teaching us! Yoga! He's already gone, and I'm shouting to an empty space. I can only apologise and ask that you don't think too harshly of him. How do you do it, Watson? How do you put up with him? He's really damn cute. You look at him, he's wearing a little tie. I suppose I care for him rather deeply. Good day. I feel a little bit ashamed for not caring a bit more than I do. And so you should, Caitlin. Ah, another one, yes. Let's get some more Sherlock time. Okay. Number 4. I hope we can, finish this whole quest line. That would be quite fun, wouldn't it? I've been helping with the deliveries this morning. There are only 3 boxes left, which I'm attempting to carry in one run, so that the final box is perched precariously on top of the other 2. Bob recommends I only take 2 at a time, but I want to get on with other things. I'm inching my way blindly along the jetty path, regretting my impatience, when suddenly something flies out of nowhere, and all 3 boxes go scattering in front of me, tripping me up in the bargain. What the... Is it Sherlock? Are you bowing before me? I know who that infuriating voice belongs to before I look up. Sherlock, what are you doing? You scared me half to death. Allow me to help you up. We are most terribly sorry. Thank you. I'm sure you are, Watson, but I find it hard to believe he understands what sorry feels like. Sorry is a word, my dear. You cannot feel a word. He's about to launch into one of his rhetoric marathons, so I interrupt him before it's too late. He's like a juggernaut, very difficult to stop once it's at full speed. Never mind all that. Why are you here? I didn't call for you. Exactly. You didn't call, so I needed to come help, unannounced. I have news. A breakthrough. Really? I have been ruminating. The picture is becoming clearer. More of the dots are joining. This great jigsaw that is overwhelming you has just found another piece. And, if I'm not mistaken, it's a corner piece. He's so frustrating. Are you saying you found something out? Well... Indeed. I'm not so sure. Something highly significant has come to me. Oh? Don't get your hopes up. In a dream. Oh. Yeah, afraid so. The greatest thinkers of all time have relied upon the hallucinatory guidance of dreaming, not the dreams of the sleeper, shut down and flabby. No, the dreams I speak of are self-induced, insightful, from a trance. The opening of the subconscious mind while the frontal lobe is distracted. So are you saying you took some LSD and hallucinated? Hypnotism. Okay, well that would actually have been a more simpler approach, wouldn't it? Sorry? He's talking about self-induced hypnosis. He practices it a lot. It looks a lot like sleeping. I really love sleeping. If I could get away with calling it hypnosis, damn straight I would. Huh, so you may as well tell me now that you've caused such mayhem. I look around and see that one of the boxes has burst open where it hit the ground, and the contents are scattered around us. I begin to gather them up when Sherlock snatches one out of my hands. The very proof! This, Watson, is what I'm talking about. Tins of tuna? What about them? I've tried to tell him. To you, these may be innocent tins of tuna, but to me, they represent the corruption and deceit that is at the very heart of this godforsaken island and the cult that inhabits it. This again! He thinks he's worked it all out. And so I have, if you will stop jabbering for one moment and allow me to speak. Watson and I exchanged a look of exasperation and allowed Sherlock to take centre stage. This, he holds up the tin of tuna again, is no ordinary can of fish. It's more like a can of worms. The most cursory of investigations uncover that what we really have here is the contraband of these two latter-day pirates who plunder the waters of the wider ocean and peddle their ill-gotten gains to the unsuspecting merchants on the mainland. I lean in close to Watson, so that Sherlock doesn't overhear me. Joe and Bob. Yes. Pirates? Would seem so. Their unscrupulous fishing methods have drawn the attention of the world-renowned vigilante environmentalist army, Libre Vert, who have hounded them across the salty battlefields and forced them to retreat into hiding here, within your very cult. He's gone mental, hasn't he? I fear so. Here, amidst the drug peddlers and the cross-dressers, under the productive... Whoa, hold it there, Sherlock. Say that last bit again. In spite of your mulish refusal to accept the truth, the caretakers and the security guard... Zane? The very same. Cross-dressing? Watson emits a small groan and bows his head. How else would you explain the bottles of nail varnish, the perfumed skin creams, the nylon stockings, size XXL, all flung indiscriminately around the camp with the abandon of a cheap burlesque? Let me just stop you there for one moment, you utter numpty. Oh, steady. Not that it would matter one jot if anyone chose to cross-dress, or that it would be any of your business, but just for the sake of accuracy, allow me to educate you. The nail varnishes belong to a previous research assistant. The stockings are used in the hope of catching small airborne life forms that might help our research. And as for the creams, that is the mystery that I've been investigating and researching since my arrival on this island. A mystery that you, oh great detective, have been no help with whatsoever. Ah, now. Notice, if you will, the word research was used several times in my statement. That's because I'm a scientist, and in science, we do not present a prognosis unless we have done the research to uncover sufficient evidence to lend our findings credibility. This Caitlin, she's always angry. Look at her, there's steam constantly coming out of her ears. She is, by far, our angriest research assistant yet. There are no facts underpinning your theories, Mr. Holmes, and that reduces them to the level of balderdash. I see the way it is. The truth can be hard to swallow, and with hurt pride as an accompaniment, it may be altogether unpalatable. Perhaps, Watson, it would be kind to leave our client to digest these revelations in private. That's possibly the most insightful idea you've had so far. When you see how wrong you've been and how right I am, you will be grateful that I've spared you public humiliation. Watson has got to his feet and is tugging on Sherlock's coat sleeve. Indeed, my friend. Let's go and eat some of this delicious tuna for lunch, and you can explain to me how you managed to solve this ticklish conundrum so brilliantly. I stand with my mouth open, watching them leave, not quite believing what I'm hearing, when Watson turns back to me and winks. It's a small gesture, but it makes everything fall into place. Of course Watson knows it's nonsense, but he allows Sherlock to believe he's right, simply because he loves his friend and accepts him for who he is. No embarrassment. I feel touched as I bend down to pick up the remaining tins of fish. We could all do with a bit of that in our lives. Watson is really just great. MVP. Absolutely fabulous. Is that all of the Sherlockisms, or is there more? That appears to be all of the Sherlockisms. Well, who'da thunk it, eh? Who'da thunk it? Right. I suppose that means that we should be moving on to be doing something else, which I think we'll get on with next time, as otherwise this episode is going to go on forever. So thank you so much for joining me for a little Sherlock special today. Have a wonderful evening. If you want to leave a like on the video or subscribe to the channel, that would be magnificent. And until next time, goodbye!